Today on Old Coins Explorer, we are taking a very close look at a fascinating British coin that many people might simply ignore. The coin in front of us is a 2006 United Kingdom 20p piece, featuring Queen Elizabeth II and the famous Tudor Rose. At first glance, it may look like nothing more than an everyday 20p coin. But when we examine its date, design, metal, shape, historical background, and mintage, the story becomes much more interesting. And there is one very important question every collector wants answered: is this coin actually rare, and how much could it be worth today? Some old British coins can sell for surprising amounts because of rarity, condition, errors, or unusual varieties. However, not every old coin is automatically valuable, and understanding the difference is extremely important for collectors. So stay with me until the end because I will explain exactly what this 2006 coin is, what makes it interesting, and what you should check before deciding its value. And if you love discovering the hidden stories behind old and collectible coins, make sure you are watching Old Coins Explorer, because here we explore the real history behind coins rather than relying on exaggerated claims. Identifying the coin. The coin shown in these photographs can be identified as a British 20p coin dated 2006. It belongs to the United Kingdom's decimal coinage system and carries a denomination of 20p. The obverse shows the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait was introduced on British circulating coins in 1998 and was used on many denominations during this period. Around the portrait is the Latin inscription beginning with Elizabeth II Day Gra Reg FD. This is a traditional abbreviated royal inscription used on British coinage. The wording refers to Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen, and Defender of the Faith. The reverse is particularly attractive because it features a crowned Tudor Rose, one of the most recognizable symbols associated with English history. The denomination 20 appears at the bottom while the date 2006 is divided around the central design. The Royal Mint confirms that the standard British 20p is a seven-sided curved heptagon, making it very distinctive among circulating coins. The basic specifications. Now let us look at the technical specifications, because these details are extremely important when identifying a coin correctly. The denomination of this coin is 20p, which means its original face value was 20p. The 20p denomination was first introduced into British circulation on June 9, 1982. The coin shown here belongs to the earlier Tudor Rose reverse design that was used from 1982 until 2008. According to the Royal Mint, a standard 20p coin has a diameter of approximately 21.4 mm. Its standard weight is 5 grams, and its thickness is approximately 1.7 mm. The coin is made from cupro-nickel, an alloy consisting of approximately 84% copper and 16% nickel. Unlike some British denominations, this ordinary circulating 20p does not have a precious metal composition. Its edge is plain, which is another useful feature collectors can check when examining an example. The unusual seven-sided curved shape was deliberately chosen to make the denomination easy to recognize and suitable for vending machines and other coin-operated equipment. The Queen Elizabeth II side. Let us now examine the side featuring Queen Elizabeth II, because there are several interesting details hidden in this portrait. The portrait on this 2006 coin was created by British coin designer Ian Rank Broadley FRBS. His portrait became the standard circulating portrait of Queen Elizabeth II beginning in 1998. Compared with some earlier portraits, the Rank Broadley design has a more realistic appearance and was intended to present the Queen in a mature and dignified way. The Queen is shown facing to the right, following the traditional convention used for British monarchs. The surrounding lettering is abbreviated because there is limited space on a relatively small circulating coin. The inscription includes Elizabeth II, followed by traditional Latin abbreviations relating to her royal title. One of the interesting things about British coinage is that these Latin inscriptions connect modern coins with centuries of British numismatic tradition. The portrait therefore does more than simply identify the monarch, it also represents a particular period in the history of the United Kingdom. Because this coin dates from 2006, it was struck during Queen Elizabeth II's reign and during the period when the Ian Rank Broadley portrait was standard on British circulating coinage. The famous Tudor Rose reverse. The reverse side of this coin is arguably the most beautiful feature, because it carries a detailed representation of the Tudor Rose. The Tudor Rose has a deep connection with English history and became an important symbol following the Wars of the Roses. The design combines elements associated with the rival houses of Lancaster and York and became strongly associated with the Tudor dynasty. On the coin, the rose is shown beneath a crown, surrounded by decorative leaves and stems. This gives the relatively small 20p coin a surprisingly detailed appearance when viewed closely. The reverse design used on this generation of 20p coins was created by William Gardner. The Royal Mint records William Gardner as the reverse designer for the 20p design used from 1982 through 2008. The number 20 is positioned prominently beneath the floral design to identify the denomination. The year 2006 is arranged around the design, with the digits separated rather than appearing together in a single line. This combination of the Tudor Rose, crown, denomination, and date makes the coin instantly recognizable as an older generation British 20p piece. Paragraph 5. How many were made and is it rare? Now we reach the question that most collectors are waiting for: how rare is the 2006 British 20p? According to published British coin mintage records, approximately 114,800,000 regular circulation examples of the 2006 20p were produced. That is a very large number, so the normal 2006 circulation issue should not be considered an extremely rare coin. This is important because the age of a coin alone does not determine its rarity or value. A coin can be 20, 50, or even 100 years old and still be common if millions of examples were produced. The 2006 20p is a good example of this principle because more than 100 million regular examples were struck. Collectors therefore generally do not treat an ordinary circulated 2006 20p as a major rarity. However, this does not mean that every example is worthless or uninteresting. Coins in exceptional condition, special finishes, or coins displaying genuine minting errors can attract additional collector interest. Mintage figures for the regular 2006 issue are reported at around 114.8 million, confirming that this particular date is common compared with genuinely scarce British issues. What is the coin actually worth? So, if you have the exact type of 2006 20p shown here, what should you realistically expect it to be worth? The first and most important point is that a normal circulated example is generally worth close to its 20 pence face value. Collectors should be careful whenever they see online claims suggesting that every old 20p coin is automatically worth hundreds or thousands of pounds. Those claims often confuse ordinary coins with rare errors, varieties, proofs, or exceptionally preserved examples. Published price guides show that the value of the 2006 regular issue increases only modestly when the coin is in very good or uncirculated condition. For example, one British coin catalogue lists guide values above face value for higher grade examples, while Numista also shows relatively modest catalogue values for ordinary examples. The exact price can change depending on condition, demand, seller, buyer, and whether the coin has been professionally graded. A coin with scratches, heavy wear, staining, or damage will normally be much less desirable than a sharp, original example with strong detail. On the other hand, an unusually attractive uncirculated example may appeal to collectors who are building a complete Elizabeth II decimal collection. Therefore, for this particular 2006 coin, the exciting discovery is more about its history and collecting interest than expecting a huge fortune from an ordinary example. Condition is extremely important. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is looking only at the date and ignoring the condition of the coin. When professionals evaluate coins, condition can make a major difference in desirability and market price. A circulated 2006 20p may have scratches, small marks, flattened details, surface wear, and loss of original shine. A much better example may have sharp lettering, clear details in the Tudor Rose, strong portrait features, and minimal contact marks. Collectors often use grading terms such as fine, very fine, extremely fine, about uncirculated, and uncirculated to describe preservation. Professional grading services can go even further by assigning numerical grades to coins. However, simply cleaning the coin is not a good idea if you are hoping to increase its collector value. Cleaning can leave scratches or an unnatural surface and may actually reduce the appeal of a collectible coin. For the coin shown in the photographs, there is visible wear and surface marking, so I would not describe it as a pristine mint state example based on photographs alone. A proper valuation would require an in-hand examination of weight, diameter, surfaces, edge, strike quality, and authenticity, rather than relying only on photographs. There is another reason an ordinary-looking British 20p can sometimes become much more interesting: minting errors. Errors occur during the manufacturing process and can sometimes make an individual coin substantially more desirable than the standard issue. Collectors may look for unusual strikes, missing or distorted details, abnormal lettering, off-center strikes, double images, or other genuine production abnormalities. But this is exactly where collectors need to be careful, because damage after the coin leaves the mint is not the same thing as a mint error. Scratches, dents, bending, corrosion, polishing, drilling, or intentional alteration do not automatically make a coin rare. The famous British 20p error that many people have heard about is associated with the 2008 undated 20p, which resulted from a mismatch involving older and newer dies. That famous variety should not be confused with the clearly dated 2006 20p shown in these photographs. Your coin visibly carries the 2006 date, so the famous undated 20p story does not apply to this particular example. This is a perfect reminder that collectors should always inspect the exact coin rather than assuming that a famous error applies to every 20p. If someone believes their coin contains an unusual error, authentication by a reputable numismatic expert is much safer than trusting a viral social media valuation. Final verdict and collector advice. After examining the visible design and comparing it with established British coin specifications, the coin shown here appears to be a 2006 United Kingdom 20p circulation coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II and the Tudor Rose. Its standard specifications are approximately 21.4 mm in diameter, 5 grams in weight, and cupro-nickel composition. Its reported regular circulation mintage of about 114.8 million means that it is not considered a major rarity in its ordinary form. That also means we should not claim that this specific coin is worth hundreds or thousands of pounds simply because it is dated 2006. Its strongest appeal comes from its connection with British history, Queen Elizabeth II's reign, the traditional Tudor Rose design, and the evolution of Britain's decimal coinage. If your example is unusually well preserved, it may be worth more than face value to the right collector, particularly if it has excellent original surfaces. If you discover a genuine mint error or an authenticated unusual variety, the situation can be completely different. For anyone watching this video, I recommend checking the date, design, weight, diameter, edge, condition, and any unusual features before deciding what your coin is worth. And remember, never clean a potentially collectible coin simply to make it look shiny, because original surfaces are often more important to collectors. So the final verdict is simple. This 2006 British 20p is historically interesting and collectible, but the normal circulated example is not a rare fortune coin. Its value depends heavily on condition and whether any genuine error or special variety is present. If you enjoyed this detailed investigation into the 2006 British 20p coin, make sure you subscribe to Old Coins Explorer for more coin discoveries, historical stories, rarity checks, and realistic value discussions. Coins are more than pieces of metal because every date, portrait, symbol, and design can tell us something about the time in which that coin was produced. And sometimes the smallest details can completely change the story behind a coin. If you have a British coin that you think might be rare, take clear photographs of both sides and the edge. Always include the date and, if possible, the weight and diameter as well. That information can make identification much more accurate. And remember, a viral claim is not the same thing as a professional valuation. The best collectors learn to research the mintage, design, condition, varieties, and market before deciding that a coin is valuable. Thank you for watching Old Coins Explorer, and keep checking those coins because you never know what interesting piece of history might be hiding in your collection. Until the next discovery, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep looking closely at your old coins.